Hello, everyone. This is Henny Espinosa of Just Wish Foundation. Today, we are joined by Stacy Buckner, a devoted advocate for veterans who founded the North Carolina-based nonprofit organization Off-Road Outreach. Thanks for joining us on Just Wish Foundation, Stacy.
Thank you so much for having me, Henny. It's really I'm really honored to do this to help spread the mission of off-road outreach. So I appreciate you having me as your guest.
Of course, of course. So, Stacey, tell us a little bit about your background and why helping our nation's heroes has always been part of you, part of your DNA, part of your blood, and how a life of service was instilled in you as a child.
So, my father was in the military, but beyond that, I live in Fayetteville, North Carolina, which is just right outside of the Fort Liberty Gate. So we are the largest neighbor to the largest military base on in the nation. So I've always had a deep-rooted sense of duty, empathy, especially and commitment to those who have served our country. And working at the VA, I see the sacrifice daily when I go into work. So that's really helpful to have that visual. Keeps you
Mhm.
humble.
Yeah, yeah. But with you said your was it your father that was in the service, right?
Yeah, my stepfather. But he's my
Okay.
dad. He's been my
Okay.
dad
And
for
and
most of
and
my
growing
life.
up, kind of what values and traits did you learn? That just being you growing up in a family where, service, where sense of patriotism, sense of pride, that was all instilled in you. Tell us about that and how kind of that really developed you into the person that you are now.
My dad being in the military, so he really instilled, like, especially at a young age, the importance of like integrity, loyalty, and teamwork. He helped me really develop an appreciation for serving others, and I think that some of the characteristics that may have shaped me was the just the him instilling like the selflessness in me, and one of the things that I want to say, I wrote it down here so I wouldn't forget. um Let me see. So talking about shaping my character,
Yeah.
okay, my dad shaping my character. So, sorry, I'd like to start off with saying that I do have a traumatic brain injury, so you
Mm.
may have to help me not go in the weeds here, Henny,
It's okay.
because
It's
I
okay.
could talk about my passion, all day. He helped me develop appreciation for serving others, but it also instilled values of honor, courage, and selflessness. That's really what I wanted to say. I wanted to get
Wow.
those three values in there because I believe that they still shape me today.
Yes, of course, of course. And you mentioned the VA. You dedicated also your life working at the VA. At the VA, what realizations did you get? Kind of was it an eye-opening experience for you when it comes to
Oh yeah.
really knowing the needs of our veterans and the issues they face? Even after, they leave the force and they go back to civilian life, all of these issues that impact them. What did you learn from working at the VA?
I still learn every day. I've been there almost 9 years. And so my office was right next to the oncology department.
Mm,
So I saw a lot of Vietnam veterans coming in from the results of, Agent Orange. And so they had cancer, but I would see them smiling as they're going
mm,
in to get their chemo treatment. So I'm like, if they have served our country and they can still smile with all of that, they I should be able to smile also and
mm,
appreciate the small things.
mm.
So it's a great way to working at the VA. It's a great way to show my love for our vets and to really help them like with healthcare and stuff like that. But we can't do it all at the VA. It really does take bridging that gap in services, which is why I created Off-Road Outreach,
Mhm,
to
mhm.
try to help bridge that gap.
Of course, of course. Before you created Off-Road Outreach, tell us about your the health crisis that you went through in 2008. and how your miraculous road to recovery led you to your life's mission.
Yeah, so I had a very unexpected traumatic brain injury,
Uh,
as they often are. I had a stroke, and in the process, I hit my head. So I had an acquired brain injury and a traumatic brain injury at the same time. It took an incredible amount of time to recover from that. I'm still recovering all of these years later. Every day I struggle with, mental health issues, that sort of thing. But I think that my story is like I want it to inspire others. People say it's my story, but I like to call it my testimony, because I don't think that I could be where I am without my faith and the support of others.
mhm, mhm, mhm. So
Yeah,
you turn that challenging moment in your life into an opportunity to really make a difference, to make more of an impact. So tell us about the beginnings of Off-Road Outreach and kind of your main goals and your ways of accomplishing these goals.
So, Off-Road Outreach was created to kind of, like I said, bridge a gap in services. So I would drive to work daily, and I would see, a group of veterans who are homeless kind of hanging out in one area. And I didn't know they were vets at the time, but I went and I spoke with them, and I found out that they served, and I, told them that I worked at the VA. And one of the things that I thought that I was doing that was really awesome was giving them hygiene kits.
Mm,
And then come to find out that really I was burdening them with something that they had to carry around all day, something that they couldn't even use because there was nowhere for them to shower publicly.
yeah, yeah,
During that time here in Fayetteville, we had no mobile showers or anything like that. So I said, why not? I had a Jeep that was equipped for mobile showers, and I just came back and said, hey, I have a shower on my Jeep, guys. I can come to you. And that was one of the things that they really needed that they weren't being provided. So
yeah,
just those basic needs,
yeah,
meeting those basic needs, it was really moving to see how much just a shower could change someone's
yeah,
day,
for
you know?
sure. For sure. And possibly also change the course of their life, because it's
Absolutely.
like, something as basic as that, like you wouldn't think it's such a
Yeah.
big difference, but to feel like I can imagine kind of how they feel when you're in that situation, that you just can't get a break. You cannot, you don't get that human kindness, the
Right.
faith in
That part.
people again. It's like just to have that one person say, hey, I care enough to come to you. I care enough to provide this service to you. So when that happened, Stacy, like how, and then you had this aha moment that, wow, this is really
Yeah.
something that's very much needed, very much welcome, and this is something um that you can do really for more people. And then you started going, did you start going from one area to another? Tell us how you kind of expanded your services with your
Yeah.
Jeep. Yeah.
Off-road outreach has grown organically. We started in 2015. It was literally just me in my Jeep and giving out hot showers and kindness and fellowship and food and clothing, stuff like that. The more that I did it, the more I realized that it was more rewarding for me
Mm,
than it was to them to be able to give back to them in some way. So I started going around to different encampments. Word spread very quickly. They were like, "Hey, there's a person that's coming around giving showers and haircuts and food." So over the past few years, I mean, I even worked very closely with the local police department with their homeless resource officer. So she'll call me and say, "Hey, I found a new encampment,"
yeah.
and I'll go and I'll try to connect them with services, because that's really the most important part. Like, we can get them out of crisis mode by meeting their basic needs at a very basic level, shower, food, clothing, hot meal, and basic healthcare, band-aids,
Yeah,
something as
yeah,
like a band-aid,
yeah,
but really connecting them to the services that they may not know about that exist
yeah,
in the community.
yeah. Long
And
term. These are the long term
yeah.
help. So what kind of long term help um do you connect them with? Are we talking about
So
housing, jobs, maybe
yeah, all of
mental
those.
health as well, right?
Most importantly, mental health. Yeah, mental health is a big thing. We work so because I do work at the VA, I know of the new laws that passed. I know of new bills that come in and different acts that are passed to help our veterans. They may not know about it. You know, just previously, up until the year 2016, if you had an other than honorable discharge, you were not qualified for services at the VA
Hmm.
because of your discharge status. So that you didn't have any benefits, and now you can get HUD-VASH, which is the VA's homeless veterans program, and also mental health services. So your discharge status doesn't matter anymore as
Hmm.
far as those two services go, especially if you are at risk or you are homeless. So
Hmm.
connecting them with those services and then letting them know that there are resources for housing and mental health services and just beyond the VA, not just the
Hmm.
VA, but other
Hmm.
local veteran service organizations
Yeah,
and
yeah,
connecting them to the benefits,
yeah,
you know?
yeah. That's. I
It
mean,
sounds so easy.
yeah, there are people and organizations willing to help as well. It's just a matter of connecting them, and getting
Yeah.
the services out to them. In your conversations with these veterans, Stacy, uh, what are the common stories of why? Because you would think, my gosh, these people sacrifice so much for our country, why do they end up in the streets? Why do they end up in these situations? In your conversations with them, what are the common stories?
Well, just as I was previously speaking about the other than honorable discharge, you know, something like that. Let's say I can give you a really quick story. I had a veteran who was discharged from the military due to multiple DWIs. And instead of
Mm,
his leadership saying, hey, you know, they recognize a pattern of behavior, they and saying, hey, let's get you some help. He ended up getting kicked out of the military for it. And he was struggling he was a combat veteran, so he was struggling with mental health issues
mm,
and he was self-medicating with alcohol.
mm,
So,
mm,
you know, just had they recognized that, that could have been prevented, you know. But when he came out of the service, he had no benefits. His family lived 3,000 miles away. They literally, you know, drop you off with a bus ticket when you get an other than honorable discharge
mm,
and get you and to try to reconnect you to your family. But for him, that wasn't an option. So he, you know, became homeless. He had nowhere to
yeah,
go.
yeah,
So that's really a common thread there, is that other than honorable discharge. And then, you know, just beyond that, I see the connection with a lot of mental health and
yeah.
substance use issues.
PTSD, maybe.
Yes, absolutely PTS. We see a lot of suicidal ideation, depression, that
Mm-hmm.
sort of thing. That's a common thread as well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. How important are your community partners, Stacy? You mentioned about, beyond the VA and beyond the services that you provide, you are, able to connect them with more of these long-term services. How important are your community partners and volunteers, um, your donors? How important are these in your services and in your plans to expand?
Well, you know, like Just Wish, you guys are having me on here to spread the mission, and that's important to have that platform to, you know, really get the story out there, get my mission out there, and get people aware that, you know, we should not have homeless veterans in the United States of America. We should not. So the community partnerships locally, though, are just as important, you know, because a service that I may not provide, I can connect that veteran to another veteran service organization that does provide that. So the networking has to be really strong. And, you know, believe it or not, Henny, you know, the nonprofit world is very cutthroat.
Mhm.
You know, I like to say to build those really strong foundations of partnerships. That's the only way we could be successful
Yeah.
together, you know, to complete the mission. I can't do this by myself and another veteran service organization. They can't do it alone either. So it's important to, you know, collaborate,
Yeah.
to collaborate, partner. So super important.
So more could be done. I mean, Stacey, your work has been widely recognized. Your exceptional volunteerism. You're wearing a CNN Hero shirt.
Yes.
You're part of the 2023 CNN Heroes. You also earned the 2022 North Carolina Governor's Medallion Award and countless other awards. But more recently, you're getting the Tom Miller Advocacy Award as well, right? How
Yeah.
do you feel about, well, one, being recognized, and two, becoming, you are inspiring people to uh, turn, I mean, to really like devote their, because volunteerism, it takes so
Yeah.
much time, effort, and just, it's not always easy, I'm sure, right, Stacey,
It's not.
volunteering your time, but uh, you are being recognized for being exceptional at it. How do you feel that you're given this platform to reach more people with your story and with your work, and hopefully to get more help for our veterans because of your story?
Well, I feel honored to be able to give back to them in such a positive way. I think it's incredibly fulfilling. It is hard work, but if my efforts improve the well-being and opportunities for people for our veterans that, served our country, I'm on the right path. I'm doing the right thing, no one ever got anywhere in life without someone else's help, and I think that's ultimately the bottom line. But, the accolades don't matter to me.
Mhm.
They're nice, just because it gives a bigger platform, to get the mission out there. But, I don't need shiny objects, to know that what I'm doing is fulfilling and
Yeah,
impactful and meaningful, you
yeah,
know. But it is nice to be able to be recognized for the hard work that you do put in.
yeah, yeah,
But I don't do this by myself. I have such a great team of folks that help me, and community ambassadors and volunteer, and even my own family. I've got my own family involved in this too. I think that, leaving a legacy like this,
yeah,
is really gonna help inspire both of my sons to live a life of service above self, just like I was taught.
yeah, yeah. I think that's the key there. It's building a
Yeah,
legacy and leaving that legacy behind for the future generations. That community of good, that movement of good lives on,
that's right.
because there will be more people to be helped, not
Yeah,
just now, but in the
unfortunately.
future. And as long as there are people like you, Stacey, that carry on that
Oh,
work, I'm just
thank
so,
you,
so
Annie.
proud of you. And I hope someday we can meet. But but
Yeah.
but for now, we are just so honored that we are able to do this for you, to support you. Um, we Mr. Jack War founder, myself, this my involvement in Justice Foundation actually started when I did a documentary on homelessness. And so
Oh, wow.
that segment of our community is it holds a special place in my heart, and really it takes a simple act of kindness sometimes to
Yes.
help turn a person's life around. And that is so profound to me, when people just take that step, that selfless act, to just be kind, to just reach out. And that's exactly what you did. You went there, and you made sure to tell them, hey, I'm here for you guys. And that must mean a
Yeah.
lot. So we salute you, Stacey. You truly are a hero in my
Thank you,
eyes, in
honey.
so many people's eyes. And we just wish you all the best, and your organization. More power to you.
Well, I really appreciate that, honey. The real heroes, I said this during my CNN hero speech, the real heroes are those veterans that I'm serving on the street. Those are
Correct,
the real
correct. Yeah.
heroes. And also, I just want to leave, if there's one thing that I want people to take from this interview, is I want them to know that the power of giving, that's the beauty of it. The power of giving, anyone can do it.
Yeah.
It doesn't discriminate,
Yeah.
age, gender, socioeconomic, it doesn't matter. If you can't help monetarily, give your time.
Yeah.
I think that's way more important than monetary donations, but my treasurer would tell you differently. But yes, I think it's really
But
important
there's
to,
always a way if there's willingness on somebody's part,
that's right.
right?
That's right,
You'll
honey.
always find a way when the heart is in the right place. So
That part. You got it,
yes,
sister.
and your heart is in the right place, Stacy. Thank you so much. More power to
Yeah,
you and more power to Off-Road Outreach. Thanks so much, Stacy.
thank you.
Thank
Thank you so
you.
much, honey.
Have a
All
good
right,
Sunday.
bye-bye.
Thank you. Talk soon.
Yes, happy
Bye.
Sunday.